A carefree teenage girl was forcibly sent to a correctional school by her parents. The teachers first confiscated all her belongings, then took out scissors and trimmed her hair to the prescribed length. After finishing, they even stripped her of all her clothes to prevent the students from being further tainted by these strange costumes. Next, they put an identity bracelet on her. After experiencing a series of treatments usually reserved for prisoners, the girl finally gained the right to enter the dormitory area. Due to the large number of students, both boys and girls, students could only share dorm rooms. The teacher led this newcomer to his assigned bed. To help him adapt to the rules more quickly, a student council member was thoughtfully arranged as his roommate. The student council member produced a thick book of school rules and demanded he memorize it entirely. During the midday tea break, he decided to bring his follower with him. People at the student council level possess certain rights and can supervise students on behalf of teachers. He noticed a leader inspecting the area ahead and decided, "Good job." He immediately picked a dorm room at random, startling the girl who was caught off guard. The girl looked down and, like a wolf, pounced under the bed. Sure enough, she found a speck of dust. This was a serious violation. Despite the boy's innocent pleas, he still chose to whistle. The teacher, tattooed, arrived at the door and praised the punishment. The boy, however, was demoted a grade. His rehabilitation journey would become even more difficult. After a moment of swagger, afterwards, they arrived at the next level dormitory. The students here were allowed to participate in some simple games. The girl then learned that students were divided into 4 levels. The upperclassman in front of her had already reached the highest student council level due to her good performance, while the brown bracelet on the girl's wrist indicated that she was currently a lower level and would only have a chance to sit on equal footing with her after completing the school's courses. Soon it was lunchtime, much to the girl's surprise. What I didn't expect was that the food distribution here was also tiered. Newcomers not only had their food portions halved, but they weren't even entitled to desserts. Even worse, the senior students could choose their seats freely because no one dared to offend those of higher rank. He, however, mistook this fear for respect and fully enjoyed the sense of superiority that came with power. But to his utter surprise, the boy who had just been punished came back for revenge, beating him until his nose bled. The senior student, who had never suffered a loss before, was. In disbelief, he immediately whistled angrily. Seeing the teachers rush into the cafeteria, he began to recount the boy's various misdeeds. All the students were required to put their hands behind their heads and face the wall. The lone boy was thus pinned to the ground by a group of adults and injected with sedatives. After the offending student was carried away, the police were alerted and the siege was lifted. Only then did everyone dare to return to their seats. A girl reached out to comfort an injured senior student, but was reprimanded for violating the school rule prohibiting physical contact. She was criticized in return and had points ruthlessly deducted. A few days later, due to the senior's good performance, the principal decided to let her enter the graduation process. However, what the girl didn't expect was that she unexpectedly stumbled upon the so-called graduation ceremony. She only saw the principal chanting some kind of incantation, making the students receiving the ceremony extremely painful. What was even more terrifying was that after the graduation ceremony, the once arrogant and domineering senior suddenly turned into a caring and good sister. She stopped obsessing over pleasing the teacher and genuinely transformed into a model student. Even during labor class, she took out a flower to give to the person who had hurt her. She initially thought it was some kind of insult, but unexpectedly, the sun actually rose in the west. This was a sincere apology. This was completely different from the senior she used to be. To avoid becoming like this, the two decided to start their escape plan ahead of schedule and reveal the true nature of the school. After announcing their plan and finding help, they decided to rebel during the Truth or Dare class. The unresponsive teacher was pinned to the ground, and he ordered everyone to put their hands behind their heads. This time, except for the graduating seniors, no students listened. Once the teacher was under control, they finally had a chance to escape. A group of angry students stormed out of the classroom and took control of even more teachers. Many students who had been following the crowd saw an opportunity and decided to join in. The escape team fled the school together, but to their surprise, all the teachers had already assembled and were orderly rushing towards the teaching building. Seeing the situation was dire, the students could only retreat in panic. Fortunately, they managed to lock the main gate. Many students, afraid of the teachers' gazes, subconsciously dared not contribute until someone brought chairs, finally locking the gate. Layla immediately ordered everyone to disperse and block all the entrances to the teaching building. This scene of students and teachers. The battle was temporarily won by the students. All entrances were under their control. However, the entire school building was also surrounded. Even more terrifying was that the principal, having received the news, had already arrived downstairs. Layla rushed to the door, staring intently at the principal through the tempered glass, and told the frightened students to hide aside while she negotiated with the principal alone. Unexpectedly, he decisively betrayed her. The students behind him quietly expressed that they would only accept the principal's promise to release them. His best friend left the school, and he was willing to open the gates to end the rebellion. Faced with this exchange of benefits, the principal almost laughed out loud. He immediately dispelled his concerns, turned around, and was about to leave. He even took the initiative to evacuate all the teachers. He believed that this loosely connected little uprising would not last more than 2 days before it all fell apart. As long as he guarded the exits and cut off the power, the students would soon come out and surrender. After occupying the teaching building, the students were unusually excited and began to take inventory. They were preparing for the next round of negotiations when the power was suddenly cut off, a devastating blow that plunged many into despair. But the girls suddenly discovered that all their belongings from before entering school were stored there, all the contraband they had brought. Many had been suppressing their feelings for years. This would be a complete release. They connected their headphones and speakers and started playing popular songs. Even their usually introverted roommate was moved. Layla got involved in the party, and after a wild time, everyone started reminiscing about their youth and even talking about love. But unexpectedly, the luggage in the storage room triggered a memory for her roommate. He brought Layla into the office, cleared the desk of everything, and pulled a pill from the lining of his down jacket. He crushed it and took a deep drag. Before entering their school, her roommate had been a drug addict, having been clean for 2 years. And it quickly robbed her of her reason. Her roommate, having overdosed, suffocated and fainted. Other students also developed problems. With no other options, everyone had no choice but to open the main door and surrender, begging the teacher to take the injured to the hospital. No one could have imagined that a meticulously planned uprising would collapse in just 6 hours. The principal approached Lyra with a saintly expression because Lyra had forgotten one crucial premise. There truly was a problem at this school. Some of the teenagers were truly unable to exercise self-control. After being resuscitated in the hospital, her roommate did not wake up. Lyra's actions not only failed to expose the school's misdeeds but also hurt her best friend. She began to doubt whether she should continue to resist, but her best friend was unwavering in her determination to expose the school's evil deeds. After devising a more meticulous plan, she actually ran away from school in disguise, incidentally. They also took the not-so-determined Layla with them. They sneaked into a teacher's car and successfully escaped the school located in the Primevale Forest, fleeing into a local town. This school, which had stood in the area for 200 years, had accumulated a considerable reputation. Knowing that students were missing, the townspeople spontaneously helped search for them. They thought that escaping the school would bring them freedom, but to their surprise, the town was still 3 days and 3 nights' journey from a city. They had to be careful to keep warm and safe. Only by gathering enough food could they have a chance to escape on foot. But at this critical moment, Layla surprisingly didn't want to leave. Because of her roommate's experience, she wasn't sure she could control herself outside. Perhaps this kind of school was just right for someone like her. Seeing that she couldn't persuade her, her teenage best friend reluctantly went first. Once the school's true nature was revealed, Layla would definitely be rescued. The 2 remaining girls ran wildly along a side road, constantly evading the school search. The team was too small for the town. Some people had already noticed movement at the farmhouse. To draw fire, the boy rushed out to hold off the pursuing team, while the girl, undercover, successfully escaped the residential area. They didn't stop until evening, when they found a car. Everyone is welcome to like, subscribe and turn the notification for more.